just want to be alone.
I remember you. Bex, right? Where's your man?
Gone. Cultists. It was so dark. I didn't realize until the children started screaming. They rounded us up. Cut us up. Said they were taking whoever could still walk to Moonrise Towers. I managed to get away. But my love... Dennis... Martin Dor, Roshan.
So what you're saying is you saved yourself and left your soulmate to die.
Piss off, regression!
Welcome back to Tran wins Baldur's Gate 3.
Damon might be knocking around here, right?
We are time traveling again just to do the conversations with the tieflings.
Should mind my step.
Bex, the chick that was crying, was over there to do the conversations with the tieflings because we are now about to interact with what they could have been telling us.
She doesn't care if the Grand Duke lives or dies. I wouldn't go that far.
Thought you'd be 10 yards tall the way Zevlor spoke of you. Cerys, Scout. Seems we missed one another at the Grove, but the others told me how you helped us. A pity. You pulled them from one death trap, only for me to land them in this one.
The inn is old, but death trap is a bit much.
Glad you've kept your humor. The others could use it. What's left of us. We were ambushed, out in the cursed lands. Cultists of this absolute. Zevlor froze, begged us to surrender. But they were toying with us, making examples. And we'd had enough of taking it. Those of us who cut free just kept running till we found this place. The others... maybe the cult got them. Maybe the curse.
What were you doing out here to begin with? You were bound for Baldur's Gate.
This army of the Absolute is growing and flowing towards Moonrise. There's worse than goblins on the roads now. I thought we might pass unnoticed along the fringes of this place, escape the owlbear by hiding in its shadow, so to speak. You can see exactly how well that went.
That's stupid. Sounds like you made a right mess of things.
Aye, I did. Maybe you'd have been the one to save us, if you'd been there. Or maybe you'd be missing, along with the rest.
Oh, you're all right. Thank goodness. I was worried they'd got you too.
Of course I am, as if there was any doubt.
I'm afraid doubt is all I know these days. I still can't believe it. The cultists. The screams. Rolan, of all people, saved us. He said he stayed in the Grove because of you. And I'm damn glad of it. Without him, well, none of us would be here.
Roland, the apprentice wizard.
Yes. He shielded me and the kids, while his brother and sister rushed the cultists. Cal and Leah were dragged away, along with the others. Roland isn't taking it so well. None of us are, to be honest. How do you do it? How do you keep going?
Danger is my life. I wouldn't change it for the world.
You're made of sterner stuff than me, then. You've done so much for us already. But I have to ask. The others might still be out there. If they're not dead, they're in Moonrise. And gods have mercy on anyone in that hell's pit.
I have far greater evils to conquer, but your friends have survived worse. I'm sure they will be fine.
Maybe. Sorry, I shouldn't have said anything. You've enough on your plate. Just be careful up there, all right? I can't handle anyone else dying.
Is anyone keeping an eye on those children from Maybe not, Mom.
The dialogue that we had just missed there, and she'll run around and say that often. She'll repeat the dialogue, is that they're saying the supplies are missing, so Jaheira immediately accuses the children, which she's not wrong.
One day I'll catch a break.
There's another bottle of Arabellan Dry back there. Put it on the bar, then piss off and leave me alone.
Jaheira said we should serve drinks, but that we shouldn't serve drunks.
Jaheira didn't save your ragged little tail from the cultists. I did.
The kids, for whatever reason, have taken up ownership of the bar and will sell you alcohol. Not that they own this alcohol to begin with. Alfira told me you're the reason her and the kids escaped.
Cute. Maybe she'll write a ballad about me. She can leave out the part where my brother and sister were dragged away screaming while I was saving the orphans. If you hadn't filled their heads with all that self-righteous heroic crap at the Grove, none of this would have happened.
Then stop whining and do something about it.
Oh, I will. You go save the world. Or your own arse. Or whatever it is you do. I'll fix this.
I tried telling Mr. Roland that he'd had enough too. He didn't like it then either. If this is about Roland, go away!
Yeesh, kid. There's no need to snap at me.
Sorry. Roland snapped too, and I didn't like it.
I wouldn't blame him. He wanted a drink and you wouldn't serve him.
It was for his own good. He can barely stand up straight.
I get it. You were trying to look after him.
Yeah. He did save us, after all. Anyway, it's his loss.
What do you mean, his loss?
I found this book. Old, dusty, full of strange lettering. Pretty sure it's magic. I was gonna give it to Roland so he could learn new spells, you know? Beats drinking till he forgets the ones he knows.
That's a great gift. I'm sure he'll love it.
Maybe. Thanks for talking and stuff.
The book, as far as I know, is not magic. It's just a storybook.
Please, be welcome. Have a drink. Oh, my gods. To your very good health.
You'll have to pardon my friend Karlak. She's very excited to meet you.
Yeah. I mean, it's an honor, milady.
I will gladly drink to your health as well, Karlak.
Smell the wine first.
You perceive a faint hint of cloth grass, a herb that is said to elicit the truth. Jaheira smiles at you knowingly.
It doesn't spoil the taste, if that's what you're wondering.
No, but it spoils my trust.
Indulge me.
This is pointless. Unless you've committed a grievous sin, I am no threat to you.
A noble proclamation. It must have made you quite thirsty.
Fine, I'll drink.
Bottoms up. Well over a century old, and yet it hasn't lost a hint of flavor. Still not quite so sure about you, though. People tend to lose more than just flavor when illithids get their hands on them. I speak from experience. There's an air about you. Something alien. Answer me true and do not lie. The parasite is changing you, isn't it?
I see now why you spiked my wine.
Just answer the question.
The answer is no. It has no influence on me whatsoever.
Good. I will take your word for it. And hold you to it, too. I have every reason to be cautious. I've traced people like you. People with parasites in their brains. All the way here from Baldur's Gate. The cult of the Absolute is spreading through the city. Quietly, quickly, and with unsettling deliberation. We tracked them to this ancient village, only to be faced with a man we killed and buried over a century ago.
If he's back, perhaps you should have hit him harder in the first place.
Believe me, he was well and truly dead. I locked his corpse in the Thorn Mausoleum myself. He was a Sharan once. Took to building an army of dark justiciars beneath this very village. Alongside the local druids, we made it our business to see him deposed, dead and buried. But he's returned. Not only does General Ketheric Thorn live again, it seems he is no longer mortal. He has become, in fact, invincible. We met him on the road here, commanding an army of the Absolute, intent on destroying Baldur's Gate. I put an arrow through his eye myself, only to watch him pluck it out like a splinter. He healed right in front of me and chased us into the shadows. Things looked hopeless, but experience has taught me that no matter how bleak things look, there's always hope. You are that hope.
You think I can kill him?
Not immediately. Protected by your artifact, you can infiltrate his forces at Moonrise Towers, posing as a true soul. Find out what it is that makes him invincible, so we can strip him of his advantage. Once Ketheric is without his shield, the sword, together we assault his tower and put a final end to this blight.
Seems like I'll be doing most of the heavy lifting.
You're the only one who can get inside the towers. You were born for this mission. Or made for it, rather. Besides, you need this. You need to heal yourself of your infection. Any cure starts with understanding the disease. Whatever magic Ketheric's using to control these tadpoles, it must be at Moonrise. Until then, we keep drinking wine when we meet.
How do I reach him? The towers are surrounded by shadows.
You're not our only secret weapon. Isobel, a faithful cleric of Selûne, and a light in the darkness. She cast the moon shield around the inn. It's the only reason we're still alive. She's upstairs in her chambers. Tell her I sent you, and she'll see you through the shadows safely.
After this next dialogue, we will reunite with our current party.
With haste.
This next dialogue is a bit of a doozy, though. Not because of any revelations in it, but just because of the long combat phase that happens as a result. If you wanted to loot,
Here goes nothing.
this is the time to do so before you speak to the chick that's outside. You could also read her diary. Ever since I returned, there's been a filth in me. It's in my very lung. There are some things even the Moon Maiden cannot heal. There are some things she would never accept in her devoted. I should never have come back. How ominous. She does have some magic gear, but nothing substantial.
I didn't realize I had an audience. The true soul who's going to save us all. I'm Isobel. Pleased to meet you.
And you, I have heard you're the protector of this inn, the banisher of shadows.
Myself and Our Lady are doing what we can to hold the line. I hear you and your tadpole will be our offense. Free from the Absolute's influence, yet able to walk among cultists. It's almost too good to be true. But I'd be a poor cleric indeed not to avail of a blessing when I see one. Let me guess. Jaheira sent you to beg a protection spell off her favorite cleric.
If you defeat the Drider before talking to Jaheira, they will bring the Moon Lantern to Isobel, who will give it to you here. However, if you own the Moon Lantern by this point, you have an extra option of dialogue.
It hurts.
Perfect. It'll make you immune to the lesser effects of the Shadow Curse, which will get you closer to the towers. But there are places it won't help. Places where the curse is darker, stronger. The cultists are able to traverse even the deepest shadows, though. I don't know how. The Harpers are trying to figure it out.
Selûnite magic. Dark Lady, forgive me.
Good nose. Like a nasty little terrier.
Anything else I should know before heading off?
Ketheric is a frightening man. But you have something he doesn't. Allies worth having. While you're busy in the towers, I'll be sure to... Wait. Do you hear that? Something's wrong.
Hello, Isobel.
Marcus, is that you? What's happened to you?
I've been blessed. You can be too. Come with me, and you can hear all about it from Ketheric himself.
Isobel, do you know this man?
He's a flaming fist. Or was. Came with the others when we created this haven.
And I thank you for your hospitality. True soul, my instructions are clear. Take the girl to Ketheric, alive.
Probe his thoughts for more information.
A haunting face swims into your mind's eye, its instructions vivid in your mind. Nothing is more important than bringing the girl alive.
What's going on? If you have something to say, say it.
Marcus is trying to kidnap you, Isobel. We're going to need to fight our way out of this one.
Pathetic. The Absolute sees all. Your treachery will be punished.
The Absolute. Of course. You can't believe them, Marcus. Ketheric will never give you whatever it is you've been promised.
He already has. Time to go, Isobel.
Winged creatures, this is actually a smart way to use them.
Moon Maiden, guide my hand.
And then immediately turn-based battle. Like, that's such an odd discrepancy between what we're watching and then suddenly... Imagine if you're watching your favorite action movie, like The Terminator, famous clubhouse shooting. They just sort of stand there, bouncing back and forth as they point guns at each other, because that's what's happening. Not that it really matters, but it's just for characterization purposes. We had Asterion sitting with his back to the wall. Harlack is downstairs hanging out with the kids. So just, I don't know, I feel weak just doing a regular swing, but is there anything else you could do? I guess you could haste. Yeah, let's haste Tran. apparently that spent my bardic inspiration. Weak. And this guy wants a piece of Gale, apparently. I guess we'll just do magic missile since he is... Well, how's a scorching ray look? 30% chance because disadvantage. Have a level 5 magic missile then. Alright, Tran, you're hasted. Divine Strike this guy. he's almost dead. Anything I can cast that wouldn't hurt her? I don't think so. I think it was just regular attack again. And that's another critical hit. The first critical hit was because of my lucky perk. So that was fated to happen. I don't think I could Hunger of Hadar just that corner. I could, actually. That's fine. We'll go ahead and start strike again. Now, I know it's completely unfair against the ghouls that I have my whole party. But I will say that this fight would also take so long if I didn't. Because we have to wait for all the Harpers and everybody else on the map to run around. They don't just run, they have to think for a bit. So you'll just watch them sit there for a while. Like this. Oh, he's taken care of. Let me get her to jump up. Unfortunately, I can't access the top roof since she's standing right under the... Gotta stand somewhere where the floor isn't, so I'll probably pass this beam. But then she's out of movement. Yeah, so now I can't jump. And I get these three without hurting her. Possibly. You gotta remember, you cannot always trust the reticle. So we'll just cast a slightly more neutral spell instead. Alright, now that's going to be quite a while before our next teammate moves. So I will go ahead and speed up mod. That's Art right there. He's walking around.
Just look at you.
The jumping is a normal part of the game's behavior. In the immersive AI mod, which I am running, the writer of that mod says that he tried to make the AI become less like grasshoppers and hop everywhere.
Your penance will be paid now.
As if you take it as this logical implication, that means that the game just likes to hop. And it makes sense. If the AI correctly decides that that gives you more movement, then yes, they would hop. How many bad guys are there left? Is it just this one?
Torment.
Another parasite. Collect it. It might be useful.
And then the next thing that happens is Jaheira runs up to talk to Isobel.
Isobel, are you all right?
I'm fine.
Marcus has been with us since the start. They've been tracking us this whole time. And that was no random attack. You were the target, Isobel. They know how important you... But they don't know about you. Ketheric will strike again. We need you to strike first. Discover the source of his invulnerability. Make him mortal so we can make him bleed. Good luck.
We're in more danger than I knew. If something happens to me, everyone in this inn is dead. Like that.
And I take it you'll just be sitting here while I do all the work. Then you'd better find a way to stop a second attack.
I have. You're the key to all of this.
I never get tired of hearing that.
Good. Because your work here is only...
No mercy. For Ketheric will have none on you. End this.
If you ask her about why Ketheric wants her, she'll say she has no idea. To speak to Marcus, we're going to need to just change our form.
Mutatis mutatis.
Yeah, because she did a great job.
The corpse regards you lifelessly.
Why were you after the cleric?
Orders of the General. Absolutes chosen.
How did you come to work for the Absolute?
Squad captured. Enlightened.
How did you get into Last Light unnoticed?
Trusted me.
Who is the Chosen?
Ketheric. Thorn.
Did you leave anything valuable behind?
Outside the inn. Buried near graveyard. She found out.
I would assume that's the shield we found.
How do I get to Moonrise Towers?
Cross cursed lands. Carry the light.
Tell me about yourself.
Marcus Falcon. Raised in Baldur's Gate.
The spell's power wanes. You can ask no more questions.
He doesn't normally answer that many questions. It's a bug. They patch it in a later version about I can't run my mods if I'm running the latest builds. Take note that people will be unhappy if you search his body, though Isobel's generally okay with it. I would suggest stealthing around, though, if you wanted to actually check that out. We can find a shifting corpus ring, great color +1, and most importantly, a mind flayer parasite specimen.
Tragedy. Less than that.
At the conclusion of all this, if you haven't searched his body for whatever reason, they actually just I find it amusing, but they chuck the body down here. That's where you'll find it later. Either that or it's a bug, but I think it's more amusing to picture it that way. Let's see if Isobel has anything to say before we leave.
On with you. Unless you want to come back to a gaggle of shadow-cursed Harpers.
Could be entertaining.
Don't jest. We're all closer to oblivion than you might think. And when we're gone, there'll be no one left to stop Ketherick.
I still have a few questions.
Go on, then.
The curse seems incredibly powerful. What more can you tell me about it?
It belongs to the goddess Shar. According to the Harpers, it fell here when they defeated Ketherick. The one who tried to have me kidnapped. I suppose they didn't defeat him quite hard enough.
How did you come to this place?
Right place, right time. When a cleric of Selûne stumbles into a Sharan shadow, she's bound to set it to rights. At any cost.
I don't know much about you. Care to fill in the blanks?
I could say the same. But perhaps we should save the trivia till we're on the other side of this thing. Promise not to die, and we'll celebrate with our life stories.
I'm not overly familiar with Selûne and Shar. Could you enlighten me?
Moon and shadow. Light and dark. Divine sisters ever at war. And this place has become one more battlefield. Sometimes life forces us to choose sides. Luckily, sometimes the choice is obvious.
In this case, we were forced to choose. If we said nothing, that would count as siding with the ghouls.
I know, but we need a plan.
Mole was captured, and that will always happen. As far as I know, there aren't any actual fatalities, although those people did collapse. There's no bodies that I can see. And you will find people just rendered unconscious throughout the map during the battle.
Hope the trousseau comes through. Yes, we wait.
The tieflings themselves have nothing new to say. Roland will now be able to leave the area if you didn't talk him out.
Traitors among us. A child taken. And still I can only feel relief. If they had taken Isobel too,
You should have seen this coming.
I thought I was prepared for treachery. But an all-out assault. I blundered into their trap like a fool. You have the honor of making up for my mistake. I trust that you will.
I wanted to ask you about something.
Then speak.
How did the Harpers first learn of the Absolute?
The same way Harpers learn of anything. Poking noses where they don't belong. We sent an agent to infiltrate this cult. The latest fad among the city's bored nobility, I thought. Until that same agent returned and tried to plant a knife in my neck. My first encounter with a true soul. I'm glad ours ended on friendlier terms. From there, I made some inquiries of my own. Saw firsthand how easily the cult could turn friend to foe with but the twist of a tadpole. And so I gathered my Harpers and came to the source. Moonrise Towers.
Let me get this straight. You knew all of this, that friend could turn to foe, that it could happen to even your closest allies, and you were still surprised by this. Yet I've heard your name before. Where?
Some crusty ballad monger, I expect. They have me slaying gods or laying with them, depending on the bard.
I feel your pain. My companion Volo is loose with the truth, too.
Volo Thampledarm? Oh, that old fraud should be dust a century past. But then, lies live forever, and he's half made of this stuff.
And just so you know, I'm not cutting her dialogue off, it's just playing that one. So, which is it?
There are as many versions of a tale as there are people to tell it. Let that satisfy you. And anyway, the heroics of old have done we fight, we die, and we just hope that when our time comes, there is someone else to take our place.
Let me guess. I'm someone else.
That remains to be seen. Criterion number 1, make Ketherick bleed. Criterion 2, survive that thing in your skull.
Oh, and before we leave, let's talk to the kids.
No one cares. No one but us. Mole would do the same for any of us. You know it.
But how do we get into Moonrise? We can't fight those shadow things.
We could. I beat up those harpies, and they're way scarier than shadows.
You know what Mole would hate more than anything? Bad things happening to us. You've seen what's out there. We wouldn't stand a chance.
Mole's resourceful. She'll find her way back.
I know she will. But look out for her, would you? Just in case she needs help.
As you start to leave the town, Roland will wait and then run past you. And if you return...
Leah, Cal, if you see this, stay put. I will return in a 10-day at most. I repeat, stay put.
You'll need help with shadows. Only a fool can face them alone.
Okay. It very much reminds me of... That's not the right place we would need to run to. Shadow Battlefield. It very much reminds me of Star Wars. Alright. We need to head here. Whoops. The reason I'm taking you on this walk is we're gonna go find Roland on the way. Otherwise I would warp directly to Moonrise Towers. So normally you cross this giant route and see the Toll House Bridge along with the debris in front of it. Take a left here where you start to see some burning embers. These burning piles are not here beforehand.
I remember it too well. Much truer than Harpers.
I thought he had better sense than this.
Halsin was busy just blathering about how he remembers the Toll House, but if you wait too long, Roland will absolutely die. Don't forget the Shadow Curse does just more damage as time goes on. I think a maximum of 8d8. But still, that's quite a bit of damage, and it's more than Roland can reliably handle. Well, that's fine. We'll crossfire, that's okay.
Enough waiting. I crave blood.
It made everybody else join combat to do that.
Finding my way.
I assume you can't reach. No, there's big cliff sides in the way.
I'm ready.
Once you've initiated battle, you are mostly able to save Roland without doing much else. You can still whoop him. So you're not out of the woods yet. But again, just like we did with Emerald Grove, this isn't something that typically a good adventurer would do, to egg him on.
Good move.
You dipped the torch. I mean, sure.
God damn it all! I could do nothing right! Not a damn thing!
Please tell me you weren't looking for Moonrise.
So what if I was? Cal and Leah could be there. Instead, I found myself cornered by shadow fiends and in need of rescue. From you, of all bloody people.
Should I have left you to die?
At least dead I'd have had a purpose. Perhaps as an appetizer for some cursed monster. I've failed Cal and Leah again. Be on your way. I'll return to Last Light. I know when I'm outmatched.
In this chest, you have to unlock it, but you'll find the Gloomstrand shield. Apparently Roland still became a zombie. Why? What happened to him? He was hit for necrotic damage and withered away. Okay, I'm gonna load this, and wow, I don't actually have a recent save. I'm gonna have to do the whole ghoul fight over. Okay, well, I will reload this and make sure Roland gets out alive so that we can make fun of him later. He even cast light on his torch, and he still took 25 points of necrotic damage, but he did manage to disappear before dying, as in despawn. The Gloom Strand Shield, +2 armor class, like a normal shield, but +1 stealth. Let's also talk to these Vestiges before leaving.
She was a healer, trying to aid the wounded in the battle against the Sharans. But there were so many. You sensed that this one was once a fisherman, taught by his father. You sense a faded memory of marching in an army against Ketheric Thorn. Victory seemed possible then.
There's also another chest there.
Wonder if the gods are watching me.
You see an old boot balanced upside down on a cobbler's knee as he taps the final nail into the new soul. Curis knew.
And we'll return back to the Last Light Inn in order to speak with Roland. Because if we do the next thing, which would involve us speaking to Roland later, we'll have lost this dialogue. Oh, and the reason why Roland has to wait for you to kind of leave the city first is so that way they can spawn the little hologram device. So you have to walk far enough away from him to not show up.
Yes, you saved me from shadow creatures. No need to gloat.
I am absolutely going to gloat. I saved your life.
Well, I'm not here to grovel, so piss off.
Now we're going to return to Moonrise Towers. And while we're here, we'll go and activate Dolly, or whatever her name is, Dolly Thrice.
Ding dang dong! Your stench is strong. Anything you want to say?
Remember that she's not exactly our biggest fan, given the way we freed her. Living in a magical theater show, puppeteered by a madman.
Hey! You're not supposed to know that. Eat dirt!
Big pig. Unfortunately, the biggest issue with that is that all my stuff, my stuff gets reorganized because it unequips you when you get morphed.
Donkety ding! You ruin everything! Anything you want to say?
I'm afraid I don't know the magic words. Mind sharing, though.
Sorry, baby. You gotta use your brain to get this boon, even if it's the size of a pea. Ribbit, Rigoberto!
Again, she's nicer if you didn't treat her badly, but we wanted to treat her badly so we can get the big face paint.
Donkety ding! You ruin everything! Anything you want to say?
Snarl.
Don't you snarl at me, you nasty cow!
With this form, we can actually, let's see here, we got dash, jump, dancing lights. I'm not sure why that's a thing.
Donkety ding! You ruin everything! Anything you want to say?
Dolly. Dolly, won't you save me from my folly?
Anytime, babe.
Then we get the Pixie Blessing. Alright.
Swift as my feet can carry me.
This next segment requires you not to have spoken to the entry guards. You can get a extra parasite by doing so. I'm not sure how rare they are in the long term. The big scheme of things. We'll go ahead and move around, not only for the extra dialogue / cutscene, but for the extra parasite. And this is the toll house. We're just going to walk around. There's Garen Gothorm, who we threw out the window. And if you haven't been cleared to enter the Moonrise Towers, there'll be a guard here waiting for you to keep you from entering through the back entrance. Now this guard, as far as I know, despawns. That's why I say it's set as an extra parasite. She despawns by walking into the tower and you cannot find her. You'll want to kill her as soon as the option avails itself. The game is slightly glitched because there's not enough play testing where people enter through this way. Is that after you've spoken to her and she starts walking away, if your other party members start jumping across, she will initiate dialogue with them as well. But we do want to actually pop her, and we might get caught killing her by the patrolling guards, but it's okay if that happens. All right, let's hop across.